Hello, in the Good Company podcast. And I'm Alice Kitzman here with weekly. Well, we had a little break, so dose of inspiration, motivation, thought provocation, all with intention and goal for you and me to have the most fulfilling, more aligned, more juicy life. Sometimes I bring people over, or always somebody that inspires me, that they believe through who they are and what they do, they change the world for better. And sometimes I have those solos. I did not have an episode and a new podcast episode for a couple of weeks because for several reasons. I really took a break because I really wanted to, first of all, I really wanted to kind of reevaluate if I want to do it further, because initially when I started this podcast, to be honest, and this podcast is not going to be about this. It's about alcohol, quitting alcohol, and celebrating sobriety. But let's just go to this intro. I was thinking, okay, I started because I started from the place of the same intention I just mentioned, but also on personal level from this idea of need to be heard and seen, which is totally okay, right? Like, as long as you bring something positive to the world, as you heal a wound, I think it's good. But I kind of healed this wound. You know what I mean? I feel like I am there, and I was like, do I need to do it? Like, it does not fulfill this need because it doesn't need to anymore, because it's I think in a large portion healed. I feel seen, I feel heard. Mostly I healed it by seeing and hearing myself by myself. Just a tip. But then I was like, no, I really enjoy to do it. There is something about connecting and having, and I was thinking, like, okay, maybe my audience, this 100 something people, is not big, but when you think about it, obviously comparing to others who have like million downloads, but when you think about it, if you have a room, even with 100 people, that's a gigantic group of people. I was like, I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking. If somebody wants to listen, and if it helps, if it inspires, if it motivates in any way, I want to share it, and I want to have this voice, especially as a woman over 40. I think, again, I'd said it before, it's like just such an important group of women that I always support, champion, and I'm so excited when I see them stepping out and sharing their voice, their wisdom, in any capacity, and I'm going to keep doing it. So today it's a fun episode, I hope, because we are celebrating today. If you are sober, obviously, I'm celebrating with you, but I am ringing 9 years of sobriety, not drinking alcohol, and I wanted to celebrate and share with you 9 things I learned, because it's 9 years from this journey. And again, if you also are on this journey at any point, congratulations, and I celebrate you, because I know it's not easy, from personal experience, and it's something to really, really celebrate, because I think when we win in the war or fight against ourselves, that's the biggest win, trust me, because we are this genius, trickster, tricky machines, and if you win in this competition against yourself, which I think is the only competition I'm participating in at this point, and I really enjoy, it's the best win possible. Okay, so no particular order, no particular importance. It's just things that when I was thinking, okay, what I want to share, what really comes through when I'm thinking about this 9 years, from the beginning to now, like what is important to share. So starting from the beginning, I think if you deal with any kind of like addictive behaviors, and toxic relationship with substances or anything else, it can be food, it can be shopping, it can be sex, it can be porn, whatever it is. Like, do not believe stories you create around it, right? Like, whatever it is, like, I can't do it, I can't imagine. Like, for me, it was like, I can't even imagine life without alcohol. Like, how I would function, like, how would my body would function. My body got so stressed when I had to be in front of group of people and talk. And I was like, I can't imagine doing it sober. Like, it's just impossible, physically impossible for me. But obviously, when I started healing journey and started healing it, started understanding what's going on, the stories was just such a stupid lie. So anything negative that you create around this addictive, this is how I am, this is, this is a part of me, like, eating gives me comfort, too much eating, or whatever it is, like, don't freaking believe yourself, like, revisit the stories. And like, I think that's where like a whole journey begins. Obviously, if you are like deep into addiction, like on the level of like substance and chemical addiction, because I think that's where it is, that your body can't function without this chemical anymore in your body. That's like a whole another level. I mostly talk about, when we function, but we have this toxic relationship with anything in our life. So don't believe yourself. I don't know if it's a good start, but remember, you are a genius machine and you can do it. And those stories that I can't do it, it's like I can't envision it, like I have to have it because of this and this, it's part of me. No, it's not. It's not the story. You can create a new story. You can. It's not true. There's no right way to quit alcohol. Is it 12 steps? Is it gradually? Is it, or any kind of addiction or any kind of addictive behavior? Is it through therapy? Like, there's no right way, there's your way. You know what I mean? Like, whatever works for you, whatever helps you. I never did 12 steps. I did it cold turkey by myself. And I think also gradually, because I stopped drinking when I was pregnant with Lila. I drank less overall after, and then obviously stopped drinking when I was pregnant with Senna, and then after her, I completely quit. So it was a kind of like a slow progress, and then just cold turkey. One day I woke up and I was like, I'm stopped drinking. Like, let me stop drinking for a month, and then month turn into 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So, but the point is, like, there's no right way. Like, you need to work with yourself, with how you are constructed, what will help you, and nobody can tell you that. I always tell you, I'm not your guru, nobody's your guru. You know yourself the best. You know what will help you. You know the way. You just need to ask this question, try things, see what your intuition tells you, see what your gut tells you, and follow that. So there is no right way to do that. It's just the right way for you. This is a good one. So if you have addictive personality like me, you are going to constantly look for replacements if you quit one addictive toxic friend. So this was like, and it still happens. Like, I just catch myself all the freaking time, for this like numbing, avoidant tendencies of mine. So I quit alcohol, but like first couple years, I dab into different things to replace it and to have this like, okay, I always have that to disappear, to avoid, to numb. And now I completely understand it. And that's another third point. I replace it with the good addictions. So I'm addicted to medication. I'm addicted to meditation. I am addicted to exercise. I am addicted to probably on some level to like growing myself. That's why I also have to take breaks for this stuff. Because I notice, but being addicted to meditation is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? If you have addictive personality, be addicted to exercise. On the level that is not like toxic and I can have my day because I didn't exercise. That's just crazy. But I know that when I don't exercise and don't meditate, I feel it, and I feel a little bit aggravated, anxious. Just like somebody who didn't have their fix right that day. So find a positive replacement. I quit alcohol in my 30s, and I had 30 years of certain patterns that I developed, and it was hard for me to replace it. And as controversial as it may sound, like replace one addiction with the other, but just positive. Listen, it works for me. I would rather be addicted to meditation and exercise than anything else. You know what I mean? So this is like a one weird tip, but you know what? Why not? One other thing is you have to, and it's not a discovering America, but you have to understand what is the root cause, where it all started, where is it coming from, what is your core wound, right? So for me, it was like abandonment issues, rejection issues, and I now became, and that's the biggest step, I think, becoming the best friend with this wound, with this core trauma, and know it in and out. When is it showing up? How is it showing up? What triggers it? How to avoid it in a good way, but like how to deal with it. Like, you have to become a master of your own trauma and wound. It's key, and it's key to understand, to like really heal it and heal this addictive behavior. It's kind of like I see it as like, cleaning the wound before it's starting to completely healed. That's how I see it. This is this like getting to the core, cleaning it all up, understanding, and again becoming best friend with your wound and trauma. As weird as it may sound, I think it's crucial. Okay, feeling more. You usually do this addictive behaviors because we want to avoid feeling something, right? We want to disappear. We want to not feel something, right? Rejection, abandonment, being not enough, feeling not enough. We drink this sip of alcohol and we are just life of a party and confidence boost. That was me. But feeling is so much more fun than alcohol. Trust me, believe me. Is it easy sometimes? No, but it's just so much more juicy, so much more fulfilling, so much more interesting, so much more colorful. The life is just so much more full if you allow these feelings. And I had several episodes, and I talk about it on my Instagram, like the learning to feel your feelings. I feel like we are not taught to feel our feelings, you know what I mean? Like locating it in your body, naming it, sitting with it, giving it space and saying, yes, I am angry and I feel it in my chest, and I am going to take a pillow and scream in it, and I'm going to scream again. I'm going to, I don't know, hit this pillow. I am going to sit with this anger and name it and not repress it because it's a bad emotion, right? Like, we have to learn to work with our emotions, energy, emotions, to let it through, to not suppress it, to not avoid it, because either way, at some point it's going to come out. And I think feeling our feelings in any sobriety journey, any addiction journey, is key. And we don't know how to do it initially, then we forgot, then we replace it with alcohol, and we completely don't know what to do with our feelings. And then there's a lot of feelings that coming up when you quit and when you are sober. And there's they feel even more intense, because for so many years they were suppressed and numbed by alcohol. So feeling our feelings, learning to do that, again, as simple as it sounds, it's key. Checking with yourself daily, like, how do I feel? What do I need? You know what I mean? Do I need a break? Do I need exercise and move this energy? Do I need a rest? Do I need I don't know, something exciting, fun? Because sometimes like, I also have this tendency of like, I like to enjoy life, I like to be excited, so and life to be excited, so I'm like looking to create this like pockets, sometimes not healthy, of excitement. So feeling our feelings, it's one of the more crucial things. Learning to do that in the sobriety journey was, for me at least. we talked about finding a good replacement. Again, controversial, but if you have addictive tendencies, find a good replacement, like a positive one, right? Meditation, exercise, whatever it is. I don't know, some kind of passion on the side. Again, observe yourself, because if it affects, again, becoming toxic and affects you in a negative way, that's not a good place to be, and we are in the same cycle. So like, I have to watch myself constantly for that. But the good addictive replacements are, I think, they are a certain way to go, especially for people who are older and that have a deeply developed patterns like I do. We talked about sober life being more full, more interesting. Did we? We talked about emotions, but the sober life, if I knew it earlier, if somebody told me that the life without any vices is just so interesting, is it easier? No, but it never was easier with alcohol. You know what I mean? If somebody told me that it's so interesting, so colorful, so intensely and interesting, sometimes boring too. But it's just like a different level. You can really get high and be drunk on life. I swear to God, you really do. When you start letting this emotions, things in yourself get through. So there's no comparison. You think like, oh, they sell us this like, oh, relaxation, alcohol is such a relaxation, it's a mommy night glass of wine, or it's so much fun, and party, whatever. Like, you can all do that without alcohol. You can relax, you can have fun, you can enjoy yourself, and it's even better because it's not like from behind this curtain. Because I feel like when I drank the alcohol, everything was like behind this curtain of this like alcohol rain, you know what I mean? So definitely sober life is much more juicy than alcohol filled one. There's no right way to be with alcohol, and I know this episode may be like, oh, I'm promoting being sober, and I do, because I believe like we are better when we are sober. But if you have healthy relationship with alcohol, that's possible too. You have a glass of wine here and there, and you don't drink to numb your emotions, you don't drink to numb your feelings, avoid or disappear. Good for you, cheers. You know what I mean? There's no right way to be with alcohol. I just knew that I am not able to sustain it and be in a right relationship with alcohol. So I had to quit it. But again, it's not like a shame place. If you can drink healthy, good for you, cheers. And the last, it's not negative, but it may be like somebody think that it's daunting, but it's really not. I'm excited about it, because the work you need to do on yourself, even if you are never been addicted to anything, I think it's something that never ends. Like, if we don't work on ourselves and we don't dig in to discover all these gifts we have, because we all have, it's a waste. And when we don't do that, I think we die. Like, I think really, I said it so many times, and it comes through so much all the time, that the only way we are going to better this world, and this world will be better, is if each one of us is going to look inward. And as we like to create outward all these beautiful things around us, we also need to go inward and create within us, and go inward and heal and grow and look for treasures, because we all have them, and untangle and heal, and clean the wounds and heal those wounds, because that's the only way everything around us, and energy around us, relationships around us, communities around us, that's the way it's going to change and get better, and then the world gets better. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's in your hands. I really feel like you can think like, oh, what I can do to make this world better. You have so much power. You can't even imagine how much power you are through work on yourself and self-reflection and going deeper and discovering and healing and growing. Like, it's insane for me. Like, we feel like we don't have this power, but I can't even express how much power you have. to affect positively this world by working on yourself and positively changing yourself. So this work never changes, and then again, never should, because if it does, it means you are dead. You know what I mean? I feel like with everything, I had one point that I feel like I was even addicted to working on me, and I had to stop that, and I had to have a break, because that's my pattern, right? Like I jump million percent into something, and I had to even stop that. And like, we have to take breaks even from work and healing ourselves, obviously. That's the healthy way to do it, but it never ends. This work never ends. The healing addictive pattern never ends, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And that's amazing, because it means that I'm alive, that I am motivated, that I want to create even better life, that I'm committed. And yeah, the most important that, I'm alive. Yeah, so that's it. I think this was 9 things. Let me look if we have everything. I think we have everything. 9 things, 9 years. Again, if you are on this journey, congratulations. Wherever you are, whatever you are dealing with. And, I think in this world, the way it is now, like we always are going to look for some ways to not feel for a minute, because it's so intense, sometimes so dark, sometimes so overwhelming, that it's like for system as complicated as us, it's just overwhelming. Like it's just like, that's why we sometimes sit and just watch TV and want to just disappear in that, and that's okay too. It's just as long as it's not toxic in a toxic way, right? That you can't live without it, or it affects your life in a negative way. Like we have to find these pockets of like not feeling. I think it's even healthy again, but if it's healthy. That's it for today. Until the next time, love and light and shadow.